But I hate this kind of argument of, oh, it's like the market isn't good enough, and I call general bullshit on that because I feel like for no extra cost, people wouldn't care. Also, I love how he's just a costume. He's not even...
he has an Olimar color. We have come full circle. Alf isn't even good enough to be an Echo Fighter.
We'll do that one. We'll do the weird.
But anyway, as I said, was the...
Maybe you could argue that a weird Japanese game not getting a full...
You know, like, especially because of some content, like, the next Senran Kagura game not getting a physical release in America. Yeah, fine, I can understand that. There's some baggage there, so I can understand that one. Fucking, like, Final Fantasy, Bayonetta, or, like, Mega Man, these, you know, big, famous IPs...
I think people really do undermine how a big popular franchise, even if it is a re-release, would sell. And it's one of those things that the one guy's weird opinion on the matter, you want to make an argument about some niche as hell Japanese game, you know what, you might have a...
Yeah, I have a point there. And as I said with the Final Fantasy, the reason I... again, the reason I believe it to be a cheapness and nothing more is basically they've now started to have other versions of it, because, like, America and Europe, it's, Final Fantasy X, the first one, and X-2 is a download code for the Switch, meaning that Japan and other Asian markets get it basically, they get both physically on their own, cards. The Xbox One version, again, it is physical, but then in Europe only, for whatever reason, it doesn't have a physical release, and I don't understand that at all, because that is just 100, like that's 100% Square being cheap assholes.
Oh, it totally fucking is, though, and
because with the Switch, while the argument is bullshit, because they could pay for...
Oh,
I was about to say what happened. I thought the game broke there for a minute.
Oh my god, I wasn't even fully... If what I think happened, that was the best.
I believe the game pulled a bomb in.
No, not just that.
Alright.
That was a free-for-all. Hold on. I need to pause for a minute. And that was a free-for-all, so Dedede and Kirby could hurt each other. I threw the black hole, Dedede did his side B.
Yeah.
The black hole absorbed his side B and bombs, and they rotated around, killing Kirby.
And they smacked Kirby, but then what killed Dedede?
I think it was either his own projectile or a bomb.
Anyway, like I said, like the Switch, you can, to some small extent, pull of the like cartridge space and all that. Even though again,
and even then,
that is
I feel
bullshit because most of these could fit onto a 32 gig card, but developers again are just cheap assholes. But the Xbox One, it again has no excuse because it's using Blu-rays, meaning it can go up to the 50 gigs as its size. So while it is only the European market, again, that is just very much 100% them being assholes. And you might say something like, oh, it's obvious, like the reason they have it only be digital on the Xbox One is because Square is acknowledging that not many people that own an Xbox One play RPGs, and if that was the case, why are you even...
Thanks!
Like...
Random assist traffic.
If that's the reason you're doing it, it's like, oh, the Xbox One install base doesn't really buy many RPGs. Why are you selling it on the Xbox One to begin with?
And my other ultimate problem with all of this is then people act like, you do know that Switch cartridges cost way more to manufacture, and that, of course, companies would not want to have extra Switch cartridges in America. But the thing that I feel is oh good, I got a purple Pikmin. That I feel is ridiculous about that argument is you act like, you know, oh, the Switch cartridge would cost Square like millions of dollars to produce, which is so not true.
I've heard that the amount of money it actually does cost to apparently produce a 32 gig Switch card, it's actually not that, like, it's actually not...
Oh, damn it, no. Oh, God, fuck! Fuck! Damn it. Not the best with OMR, but...
Oh. Fucking... You got goddamn lucky there. That little curve at the top of basically the ship saved you. If you can animal one smash attack of him.
Ha!
Hey.
My problem is fucking... Jackass... No, to go back to what we were rambling about...
Of course it ends with OMR any.
To go back to what we were rambling about for a minute, people, like, yes, Switch cartridges cost
It does cost
more.
but
I'm
it's
not
that much more.
People literally act like...
And now, granted, I don't know if this part is a true...
What
like,
the fuck?
Fire Pikmin.
What the fuck was that?
Yeah, red Pikmin are kind of obnoxious.
I'm sorry, what?
They deal a lot of damage.
Hold on, I'm just...
A lot of big damage.
I had to stop my point. I'm confused as hell. But, damn it. Olimar can do some big damage. But anyway, yes, Switch cartridges cost more. That is a fact. But the amount that a Switch cartridge costs...
It's not that much more, and apparently it's like, so not that much more. I've heard some people say, now I don't know if this, like, if this is true, so if this part, you know, could be wrong, but I've heard some people say if developers just put in the little extra amount of money to produce, like, a max-sized Switch card at 32, that would actually be cheaper than, like, producing two 16-gig cards.
It's an average, but the big point that people need to understand, people act like, oh, if Square...
It's just companies agreed in that they can't, if something doesn't make them all the money, it's deemed as a financial failure or like too much of a financial risk because, oh, they'll make money off it, but they won't make all the money. Like, basically, you have the 10 and 10. 2, essentially, if they produced both of them and the Switch went on to sell, like, over 2 million copies or something, Square could easily deem that release on the Switch a failure because of all the money that would go into the cartridges, while on like a CD or something, because it is cheaper to produce only by a few dollars apparently, it would technically make them more money. But it would just make them more money in the cynical or greedy, you know, a way of companies need to be making all of the money.
God, if I could hit him like... Hold on, I'm gonna go back. Oh my god. No! That was so stupid!
If you had thrown your Pikmin away, you would have made that. If he's carrying Pikmin, he's heavier. And we have like 30 of those, you can use them.
That's so dumb.
You need to resummon the Pikmin.
It's literally his shitty recovery!
Oh. I'll go the game for a minute. Like, the recovery...
That and I was trying to short hop into that or this. Because those do big damage, or that one.
Anyway, like, first I'll go the game for a minute.
How dare you?
All more now, the recovery, it's not that it's bad, it's only bad if you have a Pikmin, so because of that, if someone is a mad enough lad to actually play All More Elf competitively, sometimes you will see them in the middle of getting knocked off the stage, they will throw the Pikmin away to basically get max recovery. It's this, like, risk-reward thing with, All More Elf.
Huh, I won.
Kill off your Pikmin to save your own ass.
Now
just like in real Pikmin.
Go back to the...
Go back to the point of it. Like, see, what else? We made a ticket, therefore there is a net gain. Ooh, Rob is next, so then I'll...
And, Rob.
And then Wolf, so then I'll play the next two.
Fit. And then,
And then Rosalina and Chico.
Good old Rosetta Stone. Before I hand him the controller, quick side tangent. In America, Rob uses this as a default color scheme, and in Japan, Rob uses that one as a default because Rob was Famicom colored. So Japan's default costume is actually this. So they swap the
swap the first two slots around.
That one I like, and then the hot pink.
And then, like, you have all the... again, talk about the game for a minute. Most of Rob's colors...
I love red, but usually I like the subtle Famicom color, just due to the history for that. Carson can do it.
Like, talk out a few things for a minute. Rob's colors, a lot of people say that's based off the anime from Gyromite, but it also ends up looking like Bumblebee from Transformers. I believe that's based off something else from Stack Up or Gyromite, because those were Rob's two games. Blue is a combination of... Weren't some of the Rob animes in Subspace Emissary blue?
Yes.
It's a combination of that, and in the game Star Tropics, you have this robot character that looks like Rob and is colored blue. That's based off the Rob launchers from the Subspace Emissary. And then I believe people say that was a 3DS color. And then Virtual Boy, which, fun fact, that concept originated from Project M.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going Famicom now.
That's usually the one I use, but the Virtual Boy is really...
I normally use the green one because I
to
like...
To go back to what I was saying, people really act like if a company like Square Enix were to make Final Fantasy X and X-2, two separate cartridges in America, that they would get bankrupt. That item is stupid.
Yeah, that's what makes it great.
That's not the case, guys.
Yeah.
Square Enix selling me...
Square Enix would go bankrupt for completely dumber reasons.
And yes, I will acknowledge that the Switch takes... that it costs more because of the cartridge. Yeah, I'm aware of that. But to act like a company would be financially irresponsible to release a physical media on Switch is ridiculous, especially for a really good example, the fucking Mega Man collections. Hold on. Cutting back in. But I feel like people...
Damn it, game, I'm trying to do a meme.
So...
There!
Anywho, I know I was repeating points, but it's not the amount of money that it would cost to actually produce the Switch cartridges would equal out, in my opinion.
Yes.
I was going to oh wait, before that pause, I was going to say the Mega Man was a perfect example because literally the Mega Man Legacy collections and like the X collections,
I love that Final
they
Smash.
make you download Mega Man Legacy Collection 2
And X Collection 2.
The first game was 1 gig. They paid for a 1 gig card and just
And some some people justify that on both of them, and this is the same argument I saw people use for 10, and I can understand this to some degree, but at the same time, I still feel it's kind of ridiculous. The, later Mega Man games, they're not exactly as, loved as the earlier games. Similar was the X Collection. The first X Collection is X1 to 4, which you've seen as the good games, and then X5 is okay, 6 is garbage, 7, I believe, was garbage, and then X8 was finally okay again. So some people say, oh, well, because those are the worst off games, it saves them money for producing a cartridge, because it's these are the lesser.
Not everyone wants the Legacy.
Oh yeah, I got the spike.
Not everyone wants the Legacy Collection 2, because that's the bad Mega Man games.
Holy shit! I almost did it again.
Which
I can get to
a degree.
Holy shit! That hitbox is fucking huge.
And I can get to a degree, but now follow me on this logic. You're selling me copies that says Legacy Collection. Maybe, and I know that this is
heresy.
Maybe I was after both.
Maybe I haven't played them. I want to see if X6 is as garbage as everyone says it is.
Why should people who are not interested be more important than someone who is, especially because the entire argument here, I'm buying a physical copy of your video game, perhaps, and again, it's heresy, perhaps I wanted a physical copy of your video game. Can you follow my, heresy logic here, that if you're buying a physical copy, you expect a physical copy? Because my counter argument to, but what if someone is only interested in the Legacy Collection 1? Get it digital then. And then...
And now I will admit, if you, you only want Legacy Collection 1 and you want it physical, I will admit you are a little bit fucked there, but as long as the game's price isn't too inflated, I just see the getting,
the extra one you're not interested in for little to, or in most cases, no extra cost.
If the game, is, $30 or something, god damn it. If the game is, $30 or something, or a, decently cheap price like that, less than 60, then I can kind of see people's, argument to a degree. If it was cheaper, it at least would be
Yeah, cheaper. But to me, and it's the thing I was saying, especially for Legacy Collection 1 and 2, Legacy Collection 1 was 8 gig, Legacy Collection 2 for Mega Man was 5 gigs, together they're less than an 8 gig Switch cartridge. And you know what Capcom could have done? Put them on a single Switch cartridge and charge me $40. That's not unreasonable. And then your argument is literally invalid. Because for little to no extra money, you're because God, I am getting tongue-tied. Sometimes physical media.
Oh, damn it.
Because I learned something interesting that a lot of people hate, but actually makes my point stronger at the current moment. I learned something very interesting.
Alright.
And people act like this is a Nintendo only problem, which it totally isn't. Actually, side rant incoming from people shitting on...
I gotta kill him with the Gyromite!
Side rant incoming from people shitting on Nintendo, acting like evil Nintendo is doing this on the evil Switch. But this happens on other consoles, so you can completely shut up. There's this rule that gets enforced that basically the rule is if a game is released physically and digitally, so let's take the very game we're playing, Smash, it's $60 on the eShop. It's not cheaper than the cartridge. And this is a fair gain rule that is supposed to exist because it's supposed to make the physical and digital media equal so that one option is not arbitrarily better and people act like, oh my god, evil Nintendo is price gouging their digital games. Their digital games should be cheaper like everyone else. Look at Nintendo and the Switch. Go look at any PS4 game that has a physical copy. Go compare a digital download. It's not cheaper.
Even then, I think sometimes Nintendo, like, will actually have, like, if, flex it a little, like, I believe the digital version of Bayonetta, this was at least for the Wii U, I don't know if it was for the Switch, I believe it was $40 digitally on the Wii U, only because of it being a...
No, the technicality that people can get away with, if it is an official physical copy, they are not allowed to price the digital version lower.
Because Bayonetta 1 was basically a bonus on the Wii U, that is the only reason its digital version is, I believe, cheaper.
Yeah.
And I think that still carries over to the Switch, but I could be wrong on that one.
People act... I'm gonna go back to my other rant in a minute, but I just really got pissed off for everyone talking about the Switch. And it was tangentially related because this was a video talking about cartridge costs and someone talking about Nintendo's dubious practices on how they price gouge. And they're like, look at these eShop games. They're charging full price for digital when it should be cheaper because they're not factoring in manufacturing cost of cartridges. Shame on you, Nintendo. You should learn from Sony. Sony and Microsoft do the same damn thing. Stop acting like Nintendo is price gouging and Sony is not. That's not a thing. Sony and Microsoft adopted that same rule. Now, the caveat that I think people get confused on, I believe Sony will charge you less if you're paying for PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, it's because PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live told that you get free games, so...
And reduced prices.
Yeah.
It's time for the question of the day and my overall thoughts on the topic. So, anyway, what do you guys think of Olimar and Rob? I have never been good with Olimar, but I find the changes they made to him in Smash 4 interesting. They removed a lot of his RNG mechanics, and they changed his recovery to make it a risk versus reward recovery. If he has no Pikmin, he can fly a little bit farther, but if he tries to save his Pikmin, they weigh him down, meaning his recovery is less effective. As for Rob, they changed how a lot of his moves work, and Rob has become way more powerful. I prefer Rob over Olimar, but I can appreciate the changes that were made to Olimar. But anyway, you can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments, or you can leave them on social media. All my social media links are in the video description. Now, I need to be a shill for a minute. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and leave some comments. If you want to keep up with our videos, hit the subscription button and ring the notification bell. And if you follow me on social media, that helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. See you all next time.